Hi, welcome to my channel. My name's Tammy. If you are new to my channel, I invite you to like and subscribe. So this video is about self-love, what self-love is, why it's necessary for happiness, and I give you about 18 steps to self-love, okay, on how to love yourself. It's a process that we have to learn because we have been taught basically not to love ourselves. We have been taught and programmed to do just about anything but love ourselves. You may have heard people say you have to first love yourself before you can truly love anybody else. And the same is actually true too. You have to first love yourself before you can really truly be loved. And that might be triggering to some people, but I will explain that more throughout this video, how that works. So, life is a mirror of your core beliefs. And the law of attraction is real. Some of you may have heard of the law of attraction. It is real. You are creating your reality, whether you actually are doing it intentionally or out of ignorance. You are actually creating your own reality. The problem is most people do not understand that they are the creators of their reality. We have not been taught this in school. In fact, this has been intentionally hidden from the masses for control reasons. I'm not going to go into all that right now, but the powers that be do not want people to control their reality, because then the elites, the powers that control right now, the powers that be, lose. They lose pretty much everything. They have committed a lot of crimes against humanity, and they don't want to go under, they don't want to lose, and they profit off of the people. So, in worldwide. But this video is not about that. So, energy is everything, and everything is energy. And I highly suggest, if you don't have at least a basic understanding of energy and how energy, you are energy, everything is energy, then I will link some videos, or at least one video. I have some videos about energy. I'll link that to the description and probably to the end of this video for you guys to watch. Nikola Tesla said, he has a quote, "If you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." Einstein says something very similar. I don't have his quote memorized. It's very similar. He speaks about how your reality, how you create your own reality through energy. So I'll have to find that quote and post it somewhere. So the law of attraction is real. And in the law of attraction, you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are inside, your core belief system. And your thoughts and words and actions all contribute to that programming of your subconscious, which creates your core belief system. And the average person has no clue how their belief system works. They don't ever question their beliefs, because you do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. And what I'm trying to say with this is, if you do not have true self-love, you cannot attract true love. You can, however, attract karmic partners, karmic relationships that are there to teach you lessons. They are there to mirror your core beliefs. And typically, these come out as, as we're older and we get into, romantic relationships. Usually everything's fine and dandy at first during the honeymoon phase, or whatever you want to call it, whether you're married or just dating somebody. And typically everything is okay right up front. But after that, then the lessons start kicking in. This is where this person is going to basically mirror your core beliefs about yourself. You are going to learn lessons, and they're usually typically very painful lessons that you end up learning or not learning. And here's the thing: if you are not learning the lessons, if you do not realize these are lessons, you think this is just all happenstance, you blame the other person. This person did this person did that, and you become the victim. You believe you're a victim of what this person did to you, not understanding that you have created unintentionally or ignorantly created this out of not understanding how the universe works, not understanding how reality works, not understanding the law of attraction and karma and cause and effect, not understanding energy, frequency, and vibration. So these karmic partners are typically lessons that will reflect back to you your fears, your insecurities, abandonment issues, lack of self-worth, lack of self-love, self-esteem, so on and so forth. They're basically actors in your movie, that you are the star in your movie, and there's a projection. You are the projector, and your reality is the movie screen. And these are the actors in your movie. But your core beliefs and your thoughts and words as well will actually create, and your emotions create your reality. And there's typically a delay in time. That's why it's not obvious, because there's a manifesting period. And many of us grow up with these religious beliefs that teach us something completely different. So that's why this may sound absurd to some people. Here's the thing: we haven't been taught how to love ourselves. We've been taught, how to hate ourselves, how to judge ourselves, how to put ourselves down, how to judge others, how to hate others, how to hold ourselves separate, and separation mentality. How to hate others and how to fear. We've been taught how to fear what we don't understand. And fear is actually the opposite of love, and there's so much fear. And the powers that be want to hold people in fear. That's how come when you watch the news, the only thing on the news is fear-based stuff. Maybe once a week or so you'll get a uplifting story. But the reason is because the powers that be control the majority of the media. And they understand frequency control, and their goal is to hold the masses down in lower frequencies. That's one of the ways they control us. They love to hold us in a separation mentality, because as long as we're separated, we won't unite. As long as we're united, we have the power. And have you ever heard divide and conquer? That's what they've done. They've divided us with everything from all these organized religions to politics to every other issue they can throw out there in order to keep us divided. They do all this stuff intentionally because they've basically kept everybody dumbed down and ill. And sorry, I am going off on I'm being sidetracked on that, so let me get back on track, because that's not what this video is about. If you want to learn more about that stuff, I have other videos either out or coming out about these subjects. My point to the separation is God is one, and God is unconditional love. And anything trying to push you otherwise into fear, hate, separation mentality, that's why pretty much most organized religions, politics, and so many things on media, marketing, all these things are geared to keep you divided and separated, to keep you in separation mentality. Those things are not of God. Even in our religions today, there is so much deception and bullshit basically going on in the organized religions that keep you in a fear-based mentality. And I will have videos coming out here very soon on the birth and how these all started, these organized religions that so many of us have fallen under. And that's how come so many people have walked away from religion, because a lot of it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't resonate. It doesn't, something's not right. And there's reasons for that. And so I will be having videos that talk about these subjects and help you to really understand more about reality and the universe and all these things that have been hidden from us over the thousands of years, intentionally, by the powers that be and the dark forces. And we are taking our power back. So anything that promotes fear, hate, and separation is not of God. And all of that fear and separation mentality is all stuff that has been basically conditioned into us and programmed into us basically since we were born. Our parents were programmed with it and conditioned with it, our grandparents, and so on. You know, literally everywhere we go, we're constantly being conditioned and programmed. And this is all done by design, by the powers that be, to keep us dumbed down, to keep us in lower vibrational frequencies, because that's where we are controllable. So the last thing they want you to do is to love your neighbor and to unite and to love unconditionally and to love yourself. Love is the most powerful force there is. And when they hold you in fear, they keep you from this. They keep you from raising your vibration, and they keep you from moving into love frequency. Now, I have another video I will tag to the description and called Energy, Frequency, and Vibration. Called Energy is everything, and everything is energy. So, for those of you who do not understand energy, frequency, and vibration, please watch that or watch somebody else's video to give you a basic understanding. So, once you understand this, it opens you up and you're allowed to start seeing everything and understanding more. Okay, with all that said, let's go into how. What are the steps? How do I love myself? The first step is be true to yourself. Be your true, authentic self. Not the person your parents think you needed to be, not the person that you think you're expected to be, not the person everybody else wants you to be. Who are you? What do you want? What makes you happy? What makes your heart sing? If you put aside, just for right now, put aside all the responsibilities and all these things that everybody else expects of you, bills, work, all that. Put all that aside and ask yourself, what makes you happy, truly happy? What makes your heart sing? What's your true self? What life do you want to be living right now? Are you living the life you want to be living? And depending on what age you are watching this, if you are still younger and you're still living at home with your parents, that's a little bit different because, sometimes you have to do what your parents want you to do. I mean, obviously, most of us need to mind our parents and stuff when we're living at home. But for those of us who are not living at home anymore with our parents, sometimes I've seen it a lot where our parents have not necessarily lived the life that they wanted to live or that they thought they should have lived. And so they push that onto you. They push their hopes and dreams onto you and expect you to live the life that they wanted to live or wished that they had lived. And that's usually, in most cases, not the life you want for yourself. That's the life they wanted. And so they are trying to push that onto you and live vicariously through you because they didn't do that. If you understand what I'm saying, hopefully that makes sense. So, if you're living at home, if you're still young enough and you're living at home with your parents still, obviously you need to mind your parents and do what your parents, expect of you and stuff. But if you're expected to do things that don't resonate with you or you're older, so if you're expected to do things that, are not you, these are things your parents want you to do, just know that when you move out, you get to be yourself, okay? As long as you're aware, as long as you have this awareness that you do not have to be the person that somebody else wants you to be, because guess what? They have their own life to live and you have your life to live. Nobody has to answer to your life but you, okay? When you get older, and those of us who are older, when we die, you're the one that's going to have to decide, did you live the life that you wanted to? Did you do what you wanted to in this lifetime? Did you come here and do what you came to do? Or are you just doing what everybody else wants you to do? Are you doing what's expected of you? This is stuff that's all happened in the past, and this is stuff that's changing for New Earth. Okay? Now, by all means, if you resonate with what you're doing, then continue doing what you're doing. I'm just telling you that if you are not resonating, then figure out what it is that you resonate with. What makes your heart sing? What is going to make you happy? Some of us have been in this, had to be responsible for so much, for so long, that we've forgotten what we wanted. We've forgotten who we were, what made us happy. And a good thing to help you is, what made you happy when you were younger? What did you do when you were younger? Maybe, in elementary or junior high or high school. What made your heart sing? What talents do you have, if any? Some of those can help give you a clue if you do not know already. Okay, step number 2, living a heart-based life, moving from your mind into your heart. This is one of the number one things for moving into New Earth too. So if you don't know what New Earth is, check out my video on New Earth. Keep in mind, we've been programmed, we've been conditioned all of our life, and a lot of the things that we do, again, we're doing out of our programming and not because it comes from our heart. And you need to also learn the difference between your heart and your mind. So this takes some practice learning, what is coming from your heart versus what is coming from your mind. Because your mind is conditioned. Your mind is conditioned and programmed, okay? Your heart is where your truth comes. Your truth comes from your heart, okay? Your higher self, God moves through your heart, okay? So your heart will not lie to you, but your mind will. Your mind will play tricks on you. Your mind will bring the conditioning out, the doubts, everything, okay? So learn the difference between your heart and your mind and understand that you have been conditioned. And I'll go over this more in this video too, about the conditioning and walk you through that. So number 3, stop accepting other people's opinions and beliefs as your own. You should be questioning everything. And this is the problem. We haven't been taught to do this. We have been raised with conditioning and programming. And like I said again, the average person does not understand how their belief system works. So we throw all these things into our belief system. Some of these things can come into our belief system when we're 2, 3, 4 years old, and we carry these beliefs with us throughout our whole lives and never even understand that we've been walking around with these distorted, unhealthy beliefs, thinking that they're the absolute truth, not even realizing that we adopted these beliefs that weren't even our own. They didn't come from us. They came from somebody else's distorted perception of something that we adopted as the truth as a child, because we didn't know anything different at that point. And later on, we've had that belief and been conditioned to believe that. We never even questioned it. We just had accepted it as our truth, and we've lived with it for so long. We've never even questioned it. A lot of us don't even know that we had the belief in there until it really starts to come out, and you see it coming out in problems in your life. You have problem areas in your life, and you're like, why am I having all these problems? What's going on here? Little did you know, these are from distorted belief systems that you have held your whole life. And a lot of them you didn't even know that you had or when you adopted it. So I'm going to help you learn how to evaluate your belief systems and question things. So we'll go over that. Another thing with that too is we experience something that is emotionally painful, no matter what it is. Okay, say you're a child, just for as an example. As a child, you experienced something that was emotionally painful to you, and you did not know how to process those emotions properly. So that emotion was stored in you, and that turned into a belief that became a belief into you that, say, this isn't the best example, but maybe an example, you were younger and you wanted dad's attention. And dad was distracted at the time doing something. Maybe he was working on something or something like that. And he pushed you away. And that hurt you at the moment. Maybe, you were coming up with something very nice or something, and he pushed you away, and you felt very hurt about that time. Maybe you really needed your dad at the moment for something, or and dad was basically distracted or busy in his own shit. Okay, and you internally, that maybe that was emotionally painful to you at the moment, you internalized that, and that could have possibly, if you didn't process the emotion correctly, it could have turned into some sort of possibly unworthy issue, unworthy of dad's love or something like that. Simple things like this can actually stay with us, affect us, because when we're that little, we do not understand what's going on. And we come up with the perception, we come up with these distorted perceptions because we didn't understand anything better at the time. And that's not the best example, but it's just to kind of give you an idea of how we can store these things. And they will stick with us because you never probably even realized that happened and stuck with you, and that you didn't properly process that emotion, and that it put this unworthy belief in you, and then somehow throughout your life you probably added to the unworthiness through other experiences, and have caked one onto another, and so you grow up not knowing that you have a huge core belief that you're unworthy. Now, when you think right now as an adult, you think you're worthy, in your current experiences, you might think, I'm worthy, I know I'm worthy. But your core belief is completely different. Because your conscious and your subconscious are not always on the same page. So your gauge is your reality. What's happening in your reality? Where are your emotions? What emotions come up when you think of certain things in your life? Like for this example, what emotions come up when you think of your dad? Are you always trying to stay in a situation like this? Maybe, you grew up feeling unworthy of dad's love, so maybe you are constantly trying to prove yourself to dad. And no matter what you do, you can never seem to be good enough for dad's love. This is how just the littlest things can affect us and carry throughout our lives without us even knowing and understanding. I have situations of my own I'll share with you through this video as well. So number 4 on the list is question everything. Question what your subconscious is like a computer, okay? It's like your brain is like a processor. So basically accept things as files that you are filing away into your computer, okay? And basically question something before you file it away. Before you accept it as the truth, you have to question it. And, you want to ask yourself, is that true? Am I really unworthy of dad's love? As a child, you maybe have thought that. But as an adult, learning this information, start questioning it. Okay, what was the truth? Now, I teach a technique of how to go back in to find traumas that you didn't even know that you had, and it's not going to be in this video. I'll have another video. I haven't created it yet as of this day, but I'll get it out there. It teaches you how to go back and figure out where these wounds came from, because when you know when something happened and how it happened, it's easy to see it wasn't how untrue these things really were, which I'll show you in my experience. I'll try and go more into this when I share my experience with you. So what we need to do is we need to figure out, just like our computer, our desktop, we want to figure out what files we have in there, and we have to clean that out. Because if we don't clean it out, we're going to have a bunch of junk files. And eventually, our computer is not going to run properly. Okay, so we need to clean it out. Clean out all the files and folders that are no longer working or that may be bogging down the computer. Okay, so what we want to do is evaluate and question our belief systems. Use your reality as a gauge. What areas are you excelling in? What areas are you having issues in? How do you feel when you ask a question about something? Like, for instance, with the example I used about dad. How do you feel when you talk about dad? How does that make you feel? What memories do you have? Okay. Was it really you that wasn't unworthy? Here's a list of questions, because what we want to do is we want to figure this out. We want to get to the bottom, and then we want to delete anything that is no longer working for us, no longer serving our highest and best good, or the highest and best good of all involved, okay? We want to delete that, and then afterwards, we need to reprogram that into healthy belief, okay? To a healthy belief that serves our good, our highest and best good. And when I say good, I don't mean greedy. Oh, there's my dog. I don't mean, you know, we want to keep it healthy, okay? So here's some questions to ask. How is this belief serving me now? You know, maybe it served you then, but we grow and we evolve as we age. And if you're not, then you might want to ask yourself why, okay? All right, number 2. Is it for my highest and best good and the highest and best good of all, this current belief system? Okay. Is this belief limiting me or is it expansive? Is it limiting or expansive? You want it to be expansive and open. If it's limiting, that's not good, okay? All right. Does this belief hurt me or anybody else? Is this belief in alignment with my true, authentic self? Okay. Is this really my belief, or was this somebody else's belief that I adopted as my own? Or adopted unknowingly and just threw in the file folder? Is it really your belief? Or was it programmed and conditioned? This happens a lot in religion. Okay, let's see. Okay, and here also, is it the absolute truth? Is this belief the absolute truth? You know? Am I really not worthy of Dad's love? Is that the truth? Are you really not worthy of it? Maybe the issue lies with Dad. Dad had some distorted beliefs that he pushed onto you. Dad just flat out wasn't busy. He just was distracted and not paying attention. Okay? That doesn't make you not worthy of anybody's love. Nothing should make you unworthy of love. Okay? So if you feel like you're getting any value out of this content, it would be very helpful if you would like and subscribe. And if you know anybody that you think this would help, please feel free to share the video. Comment if you have any questions or comments, and maybe how this has affected you in your life. I am going to go ahead and do a part 2 because there's still a lot left to cover. So I will link part 2 in the description and at the end of the video. And please click there because I've saved the best for last too, the most important for last, okay? Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.